Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Serious Strategy Gamer, and we are returning to Let's Play of War in the West. Things are looking great for us. We have the Germans on the run, that is for sure. Let's look at Berlin in particular. So, the route to Berlin seems to be more or less open. That is the good news. The bad news is, look at what is in Berlin. We've got a bit of an infantry division, we've got the Berlin garrison, and we've got a Panzer Grenadier division. These guys are in heavy urban terrain. It's currently lightly muddy and raining, and there's a level 4 fortification. This is not ideal. This is gonna be an incredibly tough street fighting. But at least we can make it to the city, and that is what I really want to do. So let's just briefly examine the front line over here. We've got a couple of units encircled here. We've got a couple of Germans, 2 divisions also, that are guarding the Baltic Sea coast. A little bit further there. We've got 1 division here at the Plauersee. We've got a little bit of a remnant of a division guarding the approaches to Berlin in the north. And then some of them south of Potsdam here. A couple of encircled units here, a couple of encircled units there. And then most of the Saxony area here seems to be relatively open. These are just headquarter units. There's only a unit here in Dresden. And then most of Czechoslovakia seems to be pretty open too. So I think we're going to roam here very aggressively and see what we can make out of that. A couple of more semi-encircled divisions down here. Not quite, but I think it's going to be alright. And then we have a relatively... well, we have some defensive lines here in Lower Austria, or Upper Austria, sorry. And we would like to break through here and get to Vienna maybe. Still, lots of Axis troops here in the mountains, but not quite as many as we have on our side. And that is because we just can't disentangle ourselves from this fast enough. Notice that there's still snow in the mountains, and there is, in Eastern Europe, there's heavy rain, so we can't really fly here or do anything like that. So that is going to be an issue. It is October, so we are expecting the weather to get worse. Let's look at what we're doing for our bombardment missions. We're going to strike a little bit of the heavy industry here in Styria. We're going to try to create some breakthroughs here in the south, and then of course we're going to try to mop up the units that are in the rear. The big thing that is going to be a first here is we've got a ground attack here by the 18th Air Force. So this is 1,400 flying fortresses and liberators, which are going to drop an enormous bomb load on these units. From a very high altitude, and probably not that accurately, but they are going to come here, and I really want to find out whether that is going to work out for us. And notice also we are sending in the number 11 group, RAF, to basically fly air superiority missions over Berlin, and that does include these guys over here, number 129 Squadron. They are kind of interesting because they are flying the Meteor, the first jet fighter on the British side, so I'm quite intrigued to see how they will perform there. If they are going to encounter any enemy at all, but let's see about that. Other than that, I don't think there's that much to say about the front line here at all. The Germans did do a couple of attacks on their turn. Maybe we should briefly talk about that. But as you can see, they were mostly unsuccessful and kind of weak attacks for the most part. This is only the only attack where they are doing 2 attacks. Here you can see we're losing a couple of men here and there, but it's really not that bad. I mean, 60 men, of course, is a tragedy, but all in all, in the grand scheme of things, we're doing relatively fine here. So, without further ado, let's see how our air operations are going to work out here, and what we can do. We are slowly building up our supply lines towards areas like Hanover and Hamburg, but it's still kind of difficult. Oh, you could just briefly see there that we had 1 attack run on the Dutch coast there with a couple of bombers. I think from this time, not from the 9th Air Force, not from the Americans, but from the Royal Air Force. So let's see about that. Of course, we're losing quite a couple of planes here, especially to flak and operational losses, as we kind of expect. The weather is kind of bad, so not a big deal. Air combat losses are interesting. This is only 1-to-3 ratio at the moment. We've certainly seen better over time, but let's see what we have over here in terms of air combat. Do we see any battles where we've got our new guys, our Meteors involved? Don't see them for now. No, not at least not over here. So no, it doesn't seem like the Meteors did intercept anyone, which is a shame. I'd really like to see them in some sort of operation. No, just doesn't look like it. This is mostly the bombardment itself. fine. Maybe over here? What was that? Spitfire, Hurricane, Typhoon? No, this is just the ground attacks that we are doing here to basically punch through these lines. Alright, that being said then, I think we can switch over towards the ground movement here. Let's actually start over here in the Netherlands, because this is really an area that I really just want to get rid of. So let's try to do this attack here. We're losing 200 men, but finally the Hague has surrendered. So that is great to see, and that will allow us to build up our rail lines further. You can see we've got currently one line running from Antwerp via the Ruhr area all the way to Hanover over here, and that has been extended to Marburg, which will need to be used as a depot, because that is kind of close to Berlin. In the north we are getting supplies directly into Hamburg, as you should be able to see. Yeah, 50,000 supplies nearly. So that's all great, but I would really like to have one line here coming in from Amsterdam, Rotterdam, a little bit more directly here to the Hanover region, and that would be great, I think. Further down in the south, we've got a couple of lines here running in from our original landing grounds via Cologne, also the northern route, but also the southern route to Frankfurt, then north again to Kassel, to Schweinfurt, Nuremberg, and then from the very south, from the Mediterranean, we've got these supplies to Stuttgart, Munich, areas like that. Right, so let's see what else we've got. So we've dealt with these guys down there. We could go ahead and try to capture Den Helder. There's also an infantry division running around here. But all in all, I think what we're going to do is we're going to try to get these guys here to the front line and be a little bit more aggressive over there. With one exception, and that is you guys over here. I think I would like to attack Wilhelmshaven itself. Now that is of course going to be kind of difficult because they have a good garrison here, which has actually kind of strong defensive strength there, but yeah, I think we'll just need to deal with that at some point. Right, I also don't want to deal with these units here with the Volksgrenadier Division in Neumünster, because they are slightly annoying and we should try to get rid of them. That being said, it's of secondary importance, so let's actually start over here by moving up these guys. Then we're going to do a hasty attack here. That should be enough. Yeah, we're getting you to retreat there. That's lovely to see. Let's do another hasty attack on this side, I think. Yeah, there we go. You are surrendering. That's great to see. And then we're going to do a deliberate attack here. And you guys are surrendering. That's lovely already. And that was a very nice touch up over there. Right, you guys to advance a little bit like such. You guys go there. You guys can cross over here. And I think we're going to do that. Let's attack here deliberately. Yeah, you are retreating. That's lovely. Let's have the tank division attack. You've actually surrendered, which is lovely to see. And then the infantry here can do another deliberate attack and get rid of these guys too. Great. So let's continue bombing some units down here. We are going to try to get into the terrain where we'd really not like them to retreat to, at the very least. Right, that being said, I think you guys do a joint attack here on these guys. Yeah, that's fine. You're retreating. You did have fairly strong fortifications there, so we need to be slightly mindful about that. Let's attack here. You're going to probably evacuate to other places. Ooh, or you're actually holding. We're losing quite a couple of men here. Right, let's do another attack here on Weimar. You're holding. Well, isn't that interesting to see? Have you got... Okay, you've got a depot in Jena, I think. Right, let's bring you guys back. And do we have someone over here? We've got you guys. Okay, can you do a deliberate attack here? You can. Let's at least try to get Jena so that we are getting the... No. Okay, we're going to need to get back here with one of these tank divisions, simply because Jena does have the depot, and the depot is kind of important to get. So let's try to get rid of these guys, and since we are here, let's do another attack on Weimar itself. Holding. Again. Very strongly too. Yeah, but I think next time around you will be in a lot more trouble. Right, you guys are at least surrendering, so that's lovely to see. Let's bring you forward. Now we could reverse back on these guys and try to attack them. I think that's what we're going to do. Let's do attack you. Yeah, fine, surrendering. Good. I think that's it for the units that we've strictly speaking surrendered. or surrounded, and that they are now surrendering. So that's good. Let's briefly look at the number of ready men here on the German side. Of course, it's going down, but how is it looking over the last 10 turns? Barely going down, but going down. So, okay, that's nice. Right. Then let's get to the main thing, really. It is all about Berlin, so let's try to get there indeed. Right, I'm going to start here by going over here and then doing a deliberate attack against this infantry here, which is actually routed because of the huge bombardment probably. So that is kind of nice. You are getting all the way over there. That's great. Because that now should mean that we've got a good route over here all the way to northeast Berlin. Do we have sufficient troops to come down here and just finish everyone up? We've got you guys. You guys. Okay, let's go into north. Well, I wouldn't like to be there with tanks. I would like to be there with infantry, is the thing. Right, you're 12th Corps. Okay, we've got a little bit of encirclement to do over here with you guys. It's not the worst, but we might still try to do that. Okay, I don't think we have any motorized infantry which can make it down there. At least not as far as I can tell in the vicinity. So let's actually come there with tanks, I suppose. Okay, Oranienburg captured. That's nice. Lots of rail captured. Lots of flak captured. That's really, really great. And of course, this is a huge, huge step force. Let's come over here too, so that we are continuing to cut off Berlin as best as we can, which I think is going to be crucial. Right, so our Canadians are making good headway there. Question is, can we do anything else, let's say down here? If I attack you, you would retreat to Potsdam. I don't necessarily like that idea. So I would like to circle around these guys here. The issue is, of course, all of these units that are about over here. Why do you have so little movement points? Oh yeah, because you did finish off some guys here already. Right, so let's get over here. Let's do a deliberate attack against these guys. They are at least retreating, and that should mean that we have now a somewhat easier way of getting into their rear, but really just barely not far enough is the thing. Right, I would like you to get at least over there. That would be so fantastic. But it just doesn't seem a viable solution. Now, what we could try to do then is, let's try to grab another infantry division. And let's try to get over there and do another attack on these guys. Ah, damn it. They are retreating into a direction which I would not have liked to see. Okay, you guys can't go in there anyway. You guys have a harder time now. Let's bring forward these guys and maybe support them with the Brits. No, these Brits. No. Yeah, it's a bit of it's a bit of hard movement through this area here. Well, you do definitely want to capture Leipzig, because it's such an industrially important target. Okay, let's actually shift up here in the south first, so that we can do just capture various of these areas here. You guys are going to make it north. You guys can make it over here. Okay, let's get you into there, and let's do a haste attack on you. Jesus, you're holding. I did not expect that. Alternative plan, get these guys to retreat from Potsdam. It's weird. I mean, we are adjacent to Berlin at this point, so this is a great success already. Thing is, I would really like to encircle them, simply because it will mean so much for us to try to do that. Right, so you guys really can't, no one can make it over there. So unfortunate. How about you guys? You could try to attack them, but where's the point in that? Right, let's come behind you. so few fast moving units up about over here. You guys could potentially move up further if these guys were gone. So let's actually send you guys here into Neustadt. Then I'm going to do a deliberate attack against them. They're routing. And that does potentially mean that these Americans do have an easier reach all the way over here to Fürstenwalde. But you can't cross there, so that is still a bit of an issue. You guys do have fantastic reach though. You can't get any further, can you? No. Okay, let's get over here. It's at least a good distance, isn't it? And we've got you guys. You can't make it there. We've got you guys. You can't make it anyway. Neither can you. Why are you so slow, actually? Did I assign anything stupid to you? No, I did not. Further Canadians? You could sort of get behind them here, but is that really going to be an advantage to us? Right, okay, let's get you down here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do an attack here with everyone who can from you guys. Well, you have retreated, which is nice, but not necessarily in the direction that where I would like you to. Okay, you guys are probably our best bet to move out far, right? You guys can make it over here, so let's actually take these two Americans. Let's do another attack on them. We are capturing that depot, but we still haven't finished off this unit. So we could come over here and attack them, and that would isolate this area over here. Not very reliably, mind you, but it would do so. Oh, we've also got these Brits. Well, you could make it over here. Can you attack? Yeah, you can. Can you attack deliberately? No, you can't. Right. Yes. Nice. Okay, so that does mean Berlin is cut off from the rest of the area. That's never going to count as... Actually, it is counting as isolated. I would not have thought so, because this is a national supply center. So I'm surprised that that would count as actually isolated. Right, let's get rid of these guys here whenever we can. Let's briefly take a look at the northern situation here. I think what we're going to do is we're going to combine all of you guys here to do some proper defensive action. You guys can potentially come down here. I don't really intend to go to the north here, so what we might actually want to do is more or less simply going to guard you. But that being said, do they have any depots down here? No, they don't. Right, how about we do a deliberate attack with all of you? It doesn't seem like we should be able to do that, but maybe we are lucky? No, by far not. Okay, that's alright then. Still, I don't suspect that you guys will be able to get down here, so that should all in all be okay. So what we need to do then is build a defensive line around this area here, and I would like to take some of these guys over here. We've got various parts of the 28th Division. Let's get you guys over here, and then the Polish armored unit can sort of continue its breakthrough in this general direction. Let's take it down here, just close to Berlin. I very much appreciate seeing the Poles there, honestly. Right, so you guys are all fine. I'm not sure where your other part of the division is. Okay, it's over there. Well, I suppose that's okay. No, you're all 5th Division. You're 5th Division. Okay, let's bring you guys then back towards Hamburg, so that you are at least close to where you need to be. This is the 28th Division. That's part of you, so let's get you into this direction at least. We've also got you guys over here, so I'm going to move you up over here to sort of threaten in this direction, and that should basically free up all of our armor to do other things. We could try to get this bit of a Panzer Grenadier division, really. It's not the most important target, really, but still, it might be a nice shot to try to take that out. Ibisvalde, I don't think any of these areas here are super critical. How about you guys? You could make it a little bit to the north, and we have got some paratroopers up there. So I suppose I'm going to move you here just to block in these forces. You guys can get over here, also block in these forces. That's all right there. Good. The Canadians, you should make your way to Berlin, because I'm afraid that we're going to need some very tough street fighting down there, and it is going to be alright to have the Canadians, which are extremely strong in the vicinity there. Right, let's bring you guys over there, and then what we can do is take the British Armoured Brigade around. And let's take you over here, and maybe get the Czechs in as well. And even though you're all part of different front lines and such, let's try to attack over here, get them to retreat, which is lovely, and then the Czechs are going to get over here, so that does sort of lock in these guys, and that does mean we can take them out next turn. Okay, that's good. Right, let's just go into the general vicinity down here, block them in as much as possible. That's good. Right, we've got the Belgians. I think we're going to send you over here to contain this infantry division, so that it's not really capable of moving onto onto Hamburg, which at this point is really crucial defensive point here. Right, defensive and supply point is what I meant to say. Right, you guys are a little bit all over the place, honestly. I think I would like you to... Can I actually isolate these guys here? That would actually be an important objective, wouldn't it? Isolate these guys here from Berlin. You could only make it over here. You guys can make it over here, and you can sort of do some attacks here. But that would probably result in some of you guys here withdrawing towards Potsdam, which is really, really not what I would like to see. How about you guys? How about you guys first? Okay, let's send you over here so that these guys are locked in. And we've got another armored division over here. Again, we could sort of move into various different places here. But yeah, I think the big important thing is to prevent the Panzer division here and the Volksgrenadiers to get into Berlin, because that would just spell more and more trouble for us. We could try to attack this hex here. It does contain some fortress construction, and it does contain the Fallschirmjäger division, but the Fallschirmjägers are not our most important issue. Okay, so let's do an attack from here onto this hex. I think that should be okay. Okay, let's try to attack these two Volksgrenadiers. I'm hoping that they're not at least going to retreat to Potsdam, and they don't. So that's great, because now you guys just can't make it, right? Nevertheless, you guys can make it into Potsdam, so that's good, because now these guys are contained at least over here. So I do like to see that. Good. Let's get you over here, capture this depot. You don't have a depot now. We would ideally like to capture this one as well, but I don't think we can we? You guys can get into contact here. Okay, you guys can get over here. So that is nice. Probably destroyed a couple of German planes on the ground there as well. Nice. So we are really encircling Berlin quite hard here, but can we guard the entire front line is what I'm concerned about. Okay, you guys, 1st British Corps, I really appreciate you. You should make your way towards Berlin. Do we have anyone else from you? Yeah, you're also 1st Corps. Let's... I can't move you up anyway? No, I can move you over here. Okay, you guys are fantastic, because you have got the Averys, the 1st British Assault Engineer Brigade, the Churchill Averys. These guys are great at busting fortifications, or so I hope. I'm not sure whether the urban terrain is going to be very detrimental to that, but let's see about that. Right, we had the situation down here, hadn't we? Right, so you guys are kind of strong. And honestly, I would like to get rid of you. Simply so that we don't have to be concerned about this and can move out. Let's attack Weimar yet another. Jesus! Weimar population is evacuating all over the place. Okay, finally we got them. Jesus, that took a long while. Right, you guys can move out. Okay, that's nice. Good. The line down here seems to be fine to me. There's not much to say about that because really we don't need to be concerned about it, I think. Right. You guys can, I suppose, make it over here just to keep them locked in. We're going to send you around like that, and these American tanks, surprisingly enough, we do have enough tanks over here so that we might actually try to get to Rostock, Streldzun. Stettin is a very important target, actually. Just look at how much flak they have here, and that's largely due to the industrial base here of the synthetic fuel refineries and quite a bit of heavy industry. Rostock is not that important. Getting rid of these units might be interesting, but for now I don't think so. I don't think we need that. So in fact what we might want to do is send you guys to the north here and try to get rid of that infantry here. Wait a minute, I should not have moved you. I want to move you. Right, do we have any chance of attacking you? Well, not this turn, but maybe next turn. So that's going to be alright, and that does mean we can bring all of you troops here together, form a proper division, and get into here as well. So that means next time you'll be alright. You guys are incredibly fatigued and out of supply, so I would really like to get you into supply. So let's move you over here at least, so that you are on an airfield tax, which does mean we can send some supplies to you via air as well. Good. Right, anything else down here? No, don't think so. Well, these paratroopers do now need to get closer to Berlin, at least sort of in the general vicinity. You know what, let's move you over here, so that does free up this armoured unit. Do we want to get Ruland? I think is an important industrial base, isn't it? I think it does have a synthetic fuel refinery. Yeah, it does. Lubin? Lots of planes over here, but not that important, I think. So indeed what we might want to do then is just get closer to Ruland, threaten Cottbus as well, and that's nice. That is going to earn us quite a lot of points, and it's just going to make it harder for the Germans to recover their fuel supplies. And I think at this point we really can say that they're not really going to recover from any of this. They have very, very clearly lost the war at this point. Then it is the question of, are we going to be able to do that this turn or not? Right, speaking of the industrial base, what have we got down here? We've got Freiburg, not Burg. Yeah, none of these areas here are very important except for Prague, which does seem to be curiously open. So let's actually move into Prague. That is another national supply source for them, so that's great. You guys can either make it south, north, where do we want to go? We've got, well, I mean, there's Reichenberg. And isn't Königgrätz somewhere over here? Yeah, there it is. Jagdpanzer. That's a lot of Jagdpanzer production in that area. Well, that being said, I think we do need to... Well, let's try to grab Zwickau. There we go. You did grab that. Nice. I don't think Freiburg is that important. I don't think any of these areas here is important except for maybe Dresden. Right, let's send you forward. Isolate these gentlemen here. You're the first... you belong to the first group. So let's send you over there. You guys can make it to here. That's okay. And then we've got the Brits. We've got some various troops over here. It's curious to see all of these divisions doing their thing here. Or, well, brigades really. Independent brigades doing their thing. Right. Can we in some way encircle them over here? Well, what we certainly should be able to do is sort of create a breakthrough here. Right, let's do it. Ooh, you're kind of strong. Okay, let's get both of you here. And you know what? Let's do you some armored support because I think it's going to make life harder for them. Okay, they are holding out. Can we do deliberate attack then? Yeah, that is at least getting them to retreat, even though not much more than that. So, ooh, and you wouldn't really be able to move through there. And that also includes our motorized brigade, so that does pretty much preclude you from doing any fancy encirclement. So, yeah, let's simply get you all into contact here. That's all right. We are going to maintain this line off the front. Basically, you guys can advance a little bit here. Grab a couple of these areas. You guys can certainly get to the rear here, which is interesting. You can also just wreak havoc on them. Okay, do we know of any important industrial targets? And at this point, I do think what we're going to go for is heavy industry and, of course, large population centers, because these things would give us some bonus points if we do end the war early. And even though we haven't really been playing for points, but more sort of enjoyment, I do think it would be interesting, wouldn't it? I'm also very interested in capturing Vienna. So, indeed, what we're going to do here is we're going to push to the south and make some headway in that general direction, like such. You know what? You guys can all advance a little bit further. I think we're going to keep you in Prague. You guys can move to Carlsbad. And then we're going to get rid of them next turn. That's alright. We've got Freiburg, yeah. So, but that does mean we can sort of make it over... Let's say over here, and then I think we can potentially make it towards Treblitz. Yeah, so now these guys here are also isolated, and that's good. Yes, we are very much exposing ourselves here to any particular counterattack, but I think all in all, it's going to be alright. They don't really have the forces to try anything funny. Maybe in some isolated position, but not overall. Right, the route over here is completely open, so that's great to see. We've got a couple of troops here. We could actually send you to this location, and then you guys can advance into there. That's alright. You guys are starting to look a little bit threatened, but I think it's going to be alright. Let's move up the Poles into this gap here. The Italians are also going to move forward. We've got the US infantry, which is going to come forward. You guys are generally all fine. You need to break down, and then someone needs to move into this gap. You can just directly sort of flow by them. And that does actually... Okay, you guys can actually all get over here. That's alright. Good. Yeah, you guys do make it over here. Disperse with these headquarter units. That's fine. Yeah, fantastic actually. Nice. Yeah, we really do have the passes. The passes are open, at least in theory. We do still need to make sure that we are building this rail line here, because it's such a difficult movement through these mountains. But luckily, the rail isn't too affected by that. So let's repair it. Okay, you could get further, but it wouldn't really be worth much. We just might be a little bit shy of completely closing the gap here. No. We are actually capable of doing that. So that does now mean we have a full rail line running from Venice all the way to Munich, Regensburg, and further to the north there. So that's really, really great. Nice. I like to see that. Good. What else do we want to do then? We've got these units here. I think we are going to go just directly south to prevent these guys here from escaping. At this point, this is not that many units, actually. It's mostly headquarter units. So not that many combat units, I should say. But still. You know what? I am going to break you down, and I'm going to move one of you to here, and one of you into Hallstein. And you guys are fine. You guys are incredibly low on fuel. Right, we've got a good number of French units here. So let's try to bring you forward to Vels. You guys can join up there. And then we're going to try to do a short attack here. Yeah, that's okay. The overall front line here seems to be okay-ish. Where are your bodies, actually? You're part of an infantry division, aren't you? Okay, you're down here. Well, okay, that's fine. That does mean you guys can at least go forward. You guys can get over here. And then the tanks, the cavalry group, you're going to move over here. That does mean the Brazilians can move forward still. We are going to attack you here. Maybe I should have attacked the other way. 300 casualties. That's harsh. Right. Let's get you into here. And then these two French divisions are going to attack across the river, forcing them to retreat there. Lovely. But we really do need another attack over here, I think. So let's move you over here and then attack again. Yeah, we are pushing them back, but not really decisively enough to really create any sort of threat on them. Against them, really. Right, you guys are fine over here. Let's do make sure that we are guarding Munich, because that is our supply depot. But yeah, other than that, I'm really happy about the semi-encirclement over here. They still might or try to escape through here, but all in all, I think they're a little bit caught in limbo here. So that's nice to see. Good. Okay, so that's great. That does leave you guys. Don't think you can do anything. You're way too exhausted. You guys can at least try to protect our flank here. None of you have any movement points left to really move forward. You guys do have some movement points left. Okay, let's get here and attack these guys, because that would mean, if we were only successful, that would mean that we could have gotten into Linz without much trouble. Yeah, even though we spent a lot of our air power on these particular hexes, we're not doing too great here. It's just the river, the mud. You guys are all fine, right? So let's move you up. How about the Poles? You can't even generate any breakthroughs somewhere. We could attack over here across the river, try to get rid of them. But even that would be kind of difficult. Okay, let's nevertheless try it. It's across the river, and we are getting some reserves here on their side. So no, 400 men die. That's a stupid order. Okay, let's do another river attack here. Okay, at least this time we're getting them to retreat. That's nice. But at the cost of basically giving up all of our movement points. We've only got you now, and you can't even make it anywhere. Yeah, frustrating. Frustrating effort on this side here. I would have really liked to advance much further to Vienna. I thought we would be able to do that with the amount of forces that we had down here, actually. Nevertheless, now we should be able to send up a lot more forces here via the rail towards this area here at least, and start to reinforce that. And that should be okay too. Right, you know what? I'm actually going to shift you guys here, and actually going to send the Indians slightly to the east over here. That should be okay. You guys are all contained. I'm going to send back the French units here, simply so that we have a good line here. And the British armoured, you guys can actually rest up and repair a little bit. Now, the one thing I could try to do is actually send you some fuel via air freight. So we do have some guys stationed down here. Can I send any fuel to you? You are the only true transport plane here. Let's... Is that the right unit? Come on, let's pick the guys in Pisa and send some supply your way. Okay, let's use the Halifax here and see how much we are gonna get. Oh, that's a lot of AA. 22 guys are landing there. We've lost one plane. Yeah, but I don't think it did anything really for us. No. No further movement points or anything, so I think you're going to stay where you are, going to be resupplied a little bit. All of you guys are in fact going to be resupplied somewhat. Let's fan out a little bit just to prevent any breakthrough. Yeah, but we are slowly making our way over there. Steyr is going to be an important target as well. You guys are fine over here. And we have, I mean, this is the big thing, right? We have encircled Berlin. How many forces have they got in the city? It's quite a bit, actually. So it's 140 infantry. That's the important bit. 134 infantry support weapons. 1 piece of heavy artillery. 43 artillery pieces. Lots of air support, lots of support. Some engineers. Not that many. That's nice to see. Light flak. That's going to be hurtful if we attack with infantry. Some Jagdpunters. 21 anti-tank guns. And 125 pieces of heavy flak. It's not bad. It could be worse, but it's not nice either. And then slightly to the what is this? West Berlin? Starken. I don't know. Right. In Starken, which is only light woods, it's not heavy urban terrain. Still 700 pieces of flak, 300 pieces of light flak, 200 infantry, 2,500 or 400 support. 21 artillery pieces and 34 engineers. Okay, I'm suspecting that some of these guys are going to make it back into Berlin. I do suspect that they are going to form up back over here and indeed present much more of a challenge to us than we currently anticipate. But it is certainly nice to have them encircled like that. And also, that will make it a lot more difficult. I mean, at this point, the only national supply source that they have is Vienna. Only Vienna does have this little star over here, so that means all of the supply that they are sourcing, all of the freight, must come from Vienna. And that also for this area here means it's all kind of going along this rail line here in Stettin, and basically everyone is going to be quite busy on their side, I think. So yeah, that is going to be interesting. That being said, I think now is a good place to put in a cut. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Do leave a like and all of that, and I hope to see you around next time. Bye bye.